Yeah, I'm the eldest son, so I'm the one who will take over Dad's company.
My father, who was the president of the company, passed away and the funeral was about to begin when my brother appeared out of nowhere and started saying such things. What? I couldn't help but blurt out at what my brother said. Then my sister-in-law, Emily, also raised her voice.
Mike is going to be the next president. You know that, right? Normally, the eldest son takes over the company. Just shut up and accept it.
Hey, Emily, keep it down. The funeral is about to start.
Then just confirm that you'll hand over the company to me already. Otherwise, we'll miss up this funeral, got it?
They looked at me with a nasty smile. I can't believe they're this crazy. It felt like something inside of me had just snapped. It feels ridiculous to even deal with these kind of people. Fine, Mike can have it. But in return, both of you leave now. After hearing what I said, both of them grinned.
You gave your word, you can't take it back.
That was easy. Just like dear old Dad. You're such a pushover, Rachel. Haha.
With those words, my brother and his wife left. My name is Rachel. I lost my mom a few years ago. After that, it's just my dad and me living together. My dad, in his late 60s, is still active, and his energy surprises even me. My dad runs a company, and I work there too. Since I started working there, I've realized that my dad, whom I thought was just strict during my childhood, is actually a person of great compassion. Dad's attitude towards work is just like at home, coming from his uncompromising nature towards himself and others. I understood because, despite thinking my dad had a cold personality, he was well respected and looked up by his employees at the company. I used to wonder why anyone would follow a ruthless person. But one day, I saw the reason firsthand.
I'm sorry, boss. We got a call from our client and company saying that the number of items delivered yesterday was incomplete.
Saying this while turning pale was Mr. Johnson, one of the employees. N Company is one of our major clients. Dad's company isn't huge, and our business mainly revolves around direct transactions with our clients. In other words, each and every client's deal was of great significance. Mr. Johnson continued, with shame all over his face.
It's my fault. It seems they need it by today, so I'll rush over and deliver it personally. I'm really sorry.
To that, my dad replied, "Wait,
I'll go too. The company's mistake is my responsibility. Let's fix this together."
Dad stood up and put on his jacket. Upon their return, they updated that our transactions within company would still continue. After fixing the mistake, my dad presented a contingency plan to N Company to prevent such mistakes in the future. Not only did N Company agree with the plan, but they also decided to increase the number of transactions. Impressed by my dad's honesty and quick thinking to rectify the error,
There wasn't much time for N Company's order. I left it all to you, so I share the responsibility. We should have checked it together. So don't blame yourself alone.
it seems my dad said these words to Mr. Johnson on their way to the client. Mr. Johnson proudly spoke of my dad, not just for taking responsibility, but also for providing much-needed support. Then, other employees also started sharing stories about my dad. Seeing everyone's proud faces, I understood why my dad was so well liked. So, my impression of my dad as a cold and strict person changed to strict but caring. And like the other employees, I grew prouder and more respectful of him. As my impression of my dad changed, and I began to respect him not just as a president, but also as a father, I also found myself dwelling on a specific problem. The source of that problem is my older brother. I have an older brother, Mike. My older brother rebelled against our strict father. He left home as soon as he graduated from college and never returned, not even when our mother passed away. We couldn't reach him. He's always been selfish. He wasn't even present during Mother's last moments, nor did he show up for her funeral. However, due to our mother's absence, I've come to reconsider the importance of family and wonder if there's anything I can do to mend the relationship between my brother and father. If he could see that Dad isn't just strict, maybe they could work out their differences. The more I understood Dad's kindness, the stronger my belief became that reconciliation was possible. Then one day, my brother returned and brought a woman with him. It was so sudden that I was shocked. But Dad, while remaining calm, seemed somewhat pleased. Yet, despite it being their first meeting in over a decade, my brother showed no concern for Dad, nor checked where his mom when he began with this.
Because of my debts, I can't lead a decent life. Dad, please, I'm begging you, help me clear my debts.
I'm asking you too, please.
Saying this while tearing up beside my brother was Emily, who I learned was his wife. My brother had gotten married without even informing any of us. It seems that although he married Emily, his gambling debts were making their married life difficult. So, he came back to ask for our father's help. That's too much to ask. I thought so. But Dad simply said, "Understood." Surprised, I quickly looked at Dad, who was staring seriously at my brother and his wife.
However, there are conditions. Never gamble to the point of debt again. Work diligently for the family. Show your face a few times a year. If you can do these things, I'll take care of your debt.
Even my strict father must have been happy to reunite with his son after such a long time. The amount of debt my brother had wasn't something to be taken on with just these conditions. But if this could slowly improve the relationship between my dad and my brother, then maybe it's worth it. After all, if Dad is okay with these conditions, it's not my place to say anything. That's how I convinced myself.
Thanks, Dad. You saved my life.
As soon as Dad agreed to take care of his debt, my brother gave only the details about where to transfer the money and quickly left our family home. I couldn't say I wasn't uneasy about my brother's attitude. But more than that, I felt genuine happiness that Dad and my brother had finally reunited after so long. Even my usually reserved father mentioned my brother's name several times that day. He must be that happy. However, people don't change that easily, after all. It's been almost 2 years since my brother visited Dad, and he hasn't shown his face even once since then. Moreover, the debt kept increasing every month. And despite payments being made, bills kept arriving at Dad's. During this time, I tried reaching out to my brother numerous times. Even when I told him about meeting the conditions Dad had set, he still wouldn't listen.
This is between Dad and me, so stay out of it.
Saying that, he would hang up the phone every time. Then one day, Dad told me something.
It seems I have pancreatic cancer. I've been given a year to live.
What? It was so sudden that I was at a loss for words. After all, Dad was so energetic that even I and the other employees can see it. My dad has cancer, and with only a year to live. But Dad is not the type to joke about such things. The cancer and the prognosis must be true. Panicking now won't help. What I need to do now is support Dad. Since then, I started learning the work Dad had been doing and began studying management myself. Dad actively guided me as well. Surely, he did it to ensure everything would be all right no matter what happens to him. It was a complex feeling, knowing his intentions. But considering the company Dad had always protected and the employees we had worked with, there was no time for complaints. A few months later, Dad had to be hospitalized. Even when he was hospitalized, my brother didn't stop contacting him about paying off the debt.
I'm sorry, but could you make the deposit for me? Dad asked.
After hearing that from Dad, I felt my blood boil, and as soon as I left the hospital, I called my brother and raised my voice.
I've told you before, right? Dad has cancer. He's in the hospital right now. And yet you're asking for money. What were you thinking? Before asking for favors, why don't you at least visit him once?
But my brother's attitude only got worse. He replied with a tone of irritation, as if to say what a nuisance.
So what? Whether it's cancer or whatever, Dad took on the debt, so of course it should be paid.
You're not meeting the conditions, are you? You never show up and you keep increasing the debt every month. And I hear you and Emily are going to the slots almost every day.
Shut up! Emily and I are playing the slots to make money.
I couldn't accept such an excuse and exclaimed, "What?" when I heard a woman's voice in the background of the call.
Tell your dad we're happy he's paying off the debts, so we can have fun without worries.
It must be my sister-in-law. I could hear her laughing like a fool.
Hey, if you talk like that and we end up not getting the debt paid, what will you do?
But he's not going to make it, right? I thought we should say thanks while we can. Besides, wasn't it you who said, "My father is only good for his money"?
Hearing their conversation, I just hung up the phone. My fists clenched without me realizing. I was trembling in anger. I didn't make the deposit as Dad had asked, and instead went back to his hospital room to tell him about the phone conversation. I thought it might shock him, but I just couldn't hold it in. After listening to me, Dad was silent for a while, then gave a small nod and turned a serious face towards me.
Rachel, I have a request for you.
What he said next left me astonished. A few months later, Dad passed away and went to heaven. Many people came to see Dad at the wake, but even more have gathered for the funeral today. Uncle Ken, Dad's cousin, joined me in greeting the people who came to the funeral. I tried contacting my brother on the day Dad passed away, but he didn't answer the phone, and I got no replies from my emails. Uncle Ken, thank you for everything. When I said that, Uncle Ken gave a modest smile.
It's all right. You've had a lot on your plate, Rachel. If there's anything else I can help with, just let me know.
You've already helped enough, especially considering how sudden this all was. Thank you. While Uncle Ken and I were talking,
Hey, Rachel, I made it.
my brother and sister-in-law appeared. I sighed at their arrival. Why didn't you call back? As the eldest son, You should be the one taking care of all these, right?
That's too much trouble. Anyways, I have something to tell you.
My brother crossed his arms and stood proudly. My sister-in-law next to him had a smirk on her face.
You called me the eldest son just now, right?
So, what about it?
That's right, I'm the eldest son. So, I'm the one who will take over Dad's company.
Are you on drugs or something? I couldn't help but let out a voice at what my brother said. Then, my sister-in-law suddenly shouted,
Mike is going to be the next president. You know that's the truth. You know that, right? The eldest son usually takes over the company. Just shut up and accept it.
Hey, Emily, keep it down. The funeral is about to start.
Then just confirm that you'll hand over the company to me already. Otherwise, we'll mess up this funeral, got it?
They looked at me with a nasty smile. I can't believe they're this crazy. It felt like something inside of me had just snapped. It feels ridiculous to even deal with these kind of people. Fine, Mike can have it, but in return, both of you leave now. After hearing what I said, both of them grinned.
You gave your word, you can't take it back.
That was easy. Just like dear old Dad. You're such a pushover, Rachel. Haha.
With those words, my brother and his wife left the venue. A few days later, I was persistently contacted by my brother to take him and his wife to the office. My brother, wearing a bespoke suit, and my sister-in-law had on a large gemstone ring and a flashy necklace. As expected, my sister-in-law started talking to me while flaunting her ring.
I bought it new because I'm going to be the president's wife. How is it? Lovely, isn't it?
I replied emotionlessly, yes, I guess so. Even with such a bland response, my sister-in-law seemed satisfied and was okay with it. However, that complacent expression soon changed. Upon arriving at the company, my brother, ignoring me who had shown him around, clapped his hands loudly.
From now on, I'm the new president. From here on out, you listen to what I say.
Saying that, my brother gave a satisfied look, and my sister-in-law standing next to him had a triumphant expression.
Now my husband owns this company with an annual sales of $3 billion. I'm the president's wife. I'm looking forward to our future.
While sending me a disdainful look, my sister-in-law once again flashed her ring and laughed loudly. But after that, laughter erupted throughout the company. All the employees and my father's subordinates started to laugh hilariously. The two couldn't understand the situation. Their smug smiles turned into frowns.
What? What's so funny?
I have no idea. Did you say something weird?
My sister-in-law, unable to hide her irritation and snapping angrily, was met with my brother's flustered response. Watching this scene, I tried hard to hold back, but I couldn't help myself not to laugh. Noticing me laughing, my sister-in-law glared at me and started yelling furiously.
You know something, don't you? What did you do? What's so funny?
Well, it's just so funny to see someone act so entitled over something that isn't even theirs.
What?
Hearing what I said, my sister-in-law screamed, and my brother yelled, "What do you mean?" Yes, my brother is not the president of this company. From the start, neither my brother nor I had the rights to take over Dad's company at the time of the funeral, because Dad's company had already been sold. The day I found out my brother and his wife only saw Dad as a cash cow and told him. Dad made a request to me. That request was to sell the company.
I made a mistake on how I raised Mike. It's fine while I'm alive, but after I'm gone, I don't want you to suffer.
With those words, Dad decided to let go of the company for my sake, the one he left behind. Of course, I objected, but Dad's determination was firm. From there, Dad, even while hospitalized, had busy days talking to Uncle Ken, who runs his own company, to acquire our company and to discuss the future of the company with each employee. Thus, the company was successfully transferred. Dad's personal explanations and the fact that their conditions remained unchanged convinced all the employees to agree with the sale of the company. And a few weeks before Dad passed away, the sale contract was finalized, making Uncle Ken the new president of the company. Yet my brother was still saying things like I'm the president and the company belongs to my husband, so it was impossible not to laugh. Surely, not just me, but all the employees had been holding back their laughter since the funeral. I briefly explained all this to my brother and his wife. My brother and sister-in-law, learning that the company had already been sold before it came to who would take over, turned pale.
Wait a minute. You said you'd give me the company back then. What was that all about?
Oh, that. I said it because I thought you'd mess up Dad's funeral otherwise.
So, you're saying this company will never be ours? What are we going to do? I bought this ring and this necklace on borrowed money. Where will I get the money to pay for this?
My sister-in-law yelled furiously at my words. She continued to pressure my brother, saying, "Do something about it." My flustered brother, as if realizing something, had a moment of clarity and then smirked slyly again.
That's right. These Dad's inheritance isn't there. I'm the eldest son. Give me all of Dad's inheritance.
Hearing the word inheritance, my sister-in-law, who had been openly angry until then, suddenly changed her tone.
Yes, the inheritance. He was the president, so there must be a lot, right? Oh, what a relief. We can live carefree and keep having fun without worrying about debts.
To my sister-in-law, who was relieved by her own words. Not until I delivered the bad news. My brother hasn't been left a single penny, you know? He's been excluded from the inheritance. Yes, Dad not only sold the company, but also excluded my brother from the inheritance. Dad was able to exclude my brother from the inheritance because he had been covering for my brother's substantial gambling debts.
That's ridiculous.
My brother protested, but I coldly suggested, then why don't you hire a lawyer or something? But it'd be a waste of money, though.
What? I quit my job thinking I'd get the company. And now not even the inheritance.
The two of them, having lost their last hope, left the company in a daze. After the couple left, the employees all said to me, "Well done." My brother, who quit his job thinking he'd get the company, seems unable to find a decent job afterwards. My sister-in-law, who thought she'd become the president's wife, seems to have considered divorcing my brother after her dream was crushed. But apparently, she can't because they have no money. The rumor has it that they live a life of paying off debts by working part-time jobs and fighting all day, every day. Meanwhile, I continue to work together with the original staff. Even after Uncle Ken became the president, Thanks to Dad's efforts during his lifetime, not only have we continued our relationships with clients after the acquisition, but also, thanks to Uncle Ken, we've increased our clientele and our annual sales are on the rise. The company will continue to go through various changes in the future. Nevertheless, I believe it is my will to continue to respect and embody Dad's philosophy and to protect this company. To achieve that, I plan to continue to work hard and stay committed to my job.